Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Grant, coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. You're watching 284 Media. Thank you so much for your time. September is observed worldwide as Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and it's no different here in the British Virgin Islands. The VI Alzheimer's Association has a packed September full of events that incorporate the sister islands, bring awareness, and of course, presenting the topic of Alzheimer's and dementia to the public in creative ways. Today, I'm joined by the founding director, the lovely Miss Edna Williams, who's going to break that down for us. We're going to talk about some risk factors as well as early detection. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Welcome back, everyone. As promised, I am joined by Miss Edna Williams, the founding director of the VI Alzheimer's Association. We are talking today all things Alzheimer's Awareness Month. September is here. Miss Williams, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for, again, the opportunity to speak to the community, to you and the community, about dementia and about the awareness and basically fighting stigma.
Indeed, it is absolutely a pleasure. Of course, you mentioned just now fighting stigma.
Yes.
We're still fighting stigma when it comes to dementia.
Yes.
Why is that?
I think people are still afraid of the word dementia. It's one of those things that most people nowadays are afraid of it because there's no cure.
Okay.
So they're afraid to say the family member has dementia, but we need to come out. People need to come out and say this is happening to them, because it's only then by having that data, by having those numbers, that it can drive government to develop policy and services for that population.
Understood.
Because we need the data.
Now, you mentioned data, and I remember in previous conversations, we've spoken about that. Where are we in the territory on a national level with having accurate data as it pertains to Alzheimer's and dementia? Is there data?
We have some data. It's not the full gamut of data that we would like to have. What we do have, we were able to get from the National Health Insurance, and basically utilizing the various dementia codes. And to date, we know that there are 188 persons who have been diagnosed through their doctors with dementia. But of course, there's a lot of people who are out there who are undiagnosed.
Understood.
And those who are diagnosed are usually in their mid to late stages.
Okay.
So those persons in the early stage, where there's early notice of forgetting or memory issues, are not being diagnosed, or who are having difficulties navigating their everyday life or even reading and comprehending. They're not necessarily getting diagnosed at this stage.
Understood.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned just now some early signs, but I want to make reference to the connection between non-communicable diseases, which many of us in the territory are faced with, from diabetes to hypertension, obesity. Tell us the connection, if there's any, between non-communicable diseases and Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yes, there is a major connection. In fact, the Lancet Commission report came out in 2020, listing the major risk factors for dementia. And this is a commission that does a lot of research.
Okay.
And in their research, they pinpointed several non-communicable diseases which are high risk factors for dementia. That is diabetes, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol. These are high risk factors for dementia. And these are modifiable risk factors, because if we change our lifestyle, and if we start eating healthier, and if we start being physically active and decreasing the number of persons with these non-communicable diseases, it would decrease the amount or the numbers of persons who will eventually develop a dementia. So it's modifiable.
Understood.
It's within our individual hands, at the same time with the assistance of government.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you speak about assistance from government, I want to delve in there a bit. If there's any, and if you can speak about it, what has the role of the VI Alzheimer's been, and what has the support been like from not only the public but private entities?
We have worked with the private entities a lot. They have been very supportive to us. They have donated. In fact, they're the ones that who have donated so that we are able to do what we're doing. And we are very thankful for that. On an annual basis, we get donations.
Okay.
We go out and speak with these entities about the awareness, about dementia, and about the risk factors, and about the 10 warning signs, so that their employees can become aware of it, so that if they see these signs within their family, they can then maybe even talk about that family member seeing a doctor
Of course.
and getting early diagnosis. Because the earlier that you get diagnosed, you have the potential to slow down the process of dementia, either through medication or by adapting some of these protective factors, by becoming physically active continually, by looking at your blood pressure, by managing that, by ensuring that your diabetes, your glucose count is lowered, that you interact socially. These are some of the things that you can do to slow down the progression of the disease.
Understood, and thank you so much for sharing that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the VI Alzheimer's Association, once again, is catering to the needs when it comes to awareness through Alzheimer's and dementia, but you are taking it across the water as this year, and I'm so excited that the people of Virgin Gorda get an opportunity to not only be a part of this month of celebrations, but they get to interact. So I want you to take some time and share with us what that's going to look like for the month of September and how it involves Virgin Gorda.
Yes, we're really pleased to have Virgin Gorda involved. In fact, this Sunday, we'll be going to the church service at St. Mary's Anglican Church, where Father Ellis Clifton is really engaging the association and the whole realm of Alzheimer's within the service. Members of the association will be part of the service. They will be speaking. It's going to be exciting. He has asked us to get some lights for him so that he can put purple lights around the church. So he has really embraced
Lovely.
the thought of getting us, the Virgin Islands Alzheimer's Association, involved with the church service. In addition, we had a successful event here in June at Tortola Pier Park, which you, Ron, was the host.
Yes.
Yes, it was called The Power of Music on the Brain. It was so successful that we've not only been asked to do it again on Tortola, but we've been asked to replicate it on Virgin Gorda. And we're going to do that.
Wonderful.
On the 30th of September rather, we'll be doing The Power of Music on the Brain in Virgin Gorda. And we have a number of performers that are ready. A secret band is ready. The VG Chorale is ready. Simone Hodge is ready. Brenton Creaky is ready. Leon and the Hot Shots, they're ready. So we've got a whole group of performers ready to bring music and the power of music on the brain to Virgin Gorda. So it's going to be pretty good.
Exceptional. It sounds exciting. And as you mentioned, of course, we have to continue to find means and mechanisms of keeping persons who are suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia engaged, whether socially, and music happens to be one of those ways where they continue to use the brain cells and continue to be active. So kudos to you guys for doing that. And of course, Virgin Gorda, I'm encouraging you on September 30th to make sure that you come out and support, and not only Virgin Gorda, but people of Tortola as well. You can feel free to come over on the boat and enjoy this magnificent afternoon of music. Now, Edna, I have to ask you, as it pertains to the role of Alzheimer's, we know that the association we know that caring for anyone with the illness could be burdensome. It could be a heavy task. And one of the things that we lack across the society is support. I want to talk about advocacy and support within the VI Alzheimer's Association and speak to persons who may be trying to take care of someone with dementia on their own? What do you say to that?
That I thank you for doing that, first of all. I want to thank all those carers, all those family members, those care partners for actually doing this task, because it is a difficult and a burdensome task. But one of the things that the association is trying to do is have a support group that's called You Are Not Alone. And this way, it can provide support to those family members and carers so that they can share experience and understand more about dementia and how caring actually occurs and the process of dementia so that they're not alone. Yes.
Wonderful. And I also need to touch on the fact that you mentioned there are a lot of advances in medication. Speak to that.
Most of the medication that are now on the market, unfortunately, they are for those who have been early diagnosis or early onset. Most of the persons within the BVI, within our territory, they are diagnosed in mid to late stages. So those medications do not work for them.
Understood.
If persons come forth, or if it's recognized that there's some early issues that an individual is experiencing, whether it's behavior change, whether it's the ability to continue a conversation, whether it's the ability to comprehend, what they are reading, then this medication, the medications would be able to assist them. But this is not forthcoming at this point in time. It is our hopes and our advocacy that this can happen, that persons can get diagnosed in the early stage. But even more so right now, because there's no cure, what we're looking at is slowing down the risk and reducing the risk of dementia and preventing it. So this is why the focus this year is on never too early and never too late to reduce your risk for dementia.
Well, I have two follow-up questions for you. Is the early detection, the medication that is available, you said particularly for persons within the early stages, is that medication accessible to persons in the British Virgin Islands?
Not at this point.
Okay.
Not at this point.
And my second follow-up question is, you talked about essentially a lot of habits that we do, particularly as a community.
Right.
I want you to speak to that. What are some perhaps things that we do ordinarily that we don't know that could perhaps inadvertently affect us later on when it comes to dementia and Alzheimer's?
Yes, and those are major risk factors. We go home, we sit after work, we sit down, we isolate ourselves, we're inactive physically, we isolate, we don't change our methods of thinking, we don't read, we don't interact socially on a higher level. We don't learn new things. And these are some of the things that are important. Basically, what we're saying is that it's important for us to get our neurons, our brain cells activated.
In every possible way.
In every possible way. And to get the blood flowing within our brain. If we're physically active, the blood flows. There's the saying, what's good for the heart is good for the brain.
Indeed.
So we need to start doing a lot of that. We need to look at our eating habits. We need to change our eating habits to more of those that don't create high cholesterol. I'm not saying that you don't eat your meat or you eat your pork or anything, but decrease and recognize that if this is impacting on you, that you need to decrease it.
Understood.
If you're obese, if you're overweight, hey, we're all overweight. I'm overweight. I need to be more physically active, which I'm trying. But we need to get there. We need to become more physically active.
And even when you're not overweight like myself, that doesn't mean that you don't engage in physical activity.
Absolutely. It's never too early and never too late to reduce your risk for dementia.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well, Edna, I wanted to go ahead.
One of the things that we have happening,
Okay.
which I don't think I will discuss, we're having a health fair
Okay.
in collaboration with the Diabetes Association.
Lovely.
First of all, let me mention one thing. The Lions Club of Tortola have partnered with us for this entire month.
Beautiful.
For whatever we're doing, they will be involved. For the health fair, we have several partners or collaborators. The main collaborator is the Diabetes Association. Again, looking at type 2 diabetes and all the NCDs being high risk factors. And this health fair will be on Saturday, the 23rd
Okay.
of September at Noah Lloyd Park from 10 to 3 p.m. I encourage everyone to come out because this is the time to learn about the risk factors and how you can mitigate those risk factors, because we need to do that. We need to reduce the risk we have the potential to reduce our risk for dementia by 40% if we modify these behaviors. So I encourage you to come out and learn more about the risk factors and the mitigating protective factors.
Wonderful. Well, once again, I want to take the opportunity to commend you and the VI Alzheimer's Association, the entire team, the board and directors of the VI Alzheimer's Association, and very happy to see the BVI Diabetes Association partnering with you. Of course, Lions Club as well, continuing to do remarkable things. Shout out to the Lions who are roaring and doing their thing across the territory, continuing to raise awareness, continuing to make sure that it remains a conversation. Continuing to make sure that we as a society understand the impact of Alzheimer's and dementia, and there's no better way to do that. So you'll definitely see me at some of the activities over the month of September. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
You're most
Appreciate
welcome.
it, as usual.
Viewers, that's all the time we have. I'll see you later. Ron Grant for 284 Media. Bye-bye.